And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that storage with Stefan Olsthoorn. He's from Energy Storage NL.
Hi, thank you for having me.
The name gives it away. You're going to talk about energy storage,
of course,
right?
Yeah.
Yes. Could you tell the viewers a little bit about Energy Storage NL? What kind of company is it? How long do you exist? How big are you? What do you do?
Yeah, sure. We're actually not a company. We're an association. Energy Storage NL is the Dutch Association for the energy storage industry. We represent over 80 member companies that are working on bringing their energy storage solution to the market, and we try to help them in that journey.
And could you explain to our viewers a little bit, like what kind of energy storages do you have? Because I heard batteries. Now, batteries we of course all know. We know the batteries that go in our flashing light or even in our cars. But I also heard like the flying wheel. Could you?
Yeah, there are various types of energy storage technologies, and our member companies work on different types of energy storage. All these different technologies have also different applications. For instance, a flywheel is very well suited for very rapid energy storage, so short-term peak shaving, short-term energy storage, while the flow batteries that Olsthoorn talked about are very well suited for storing energy for a couple of hours or maybe even a day. And then there's also hydrogen, which can be used for storing energy for maybe even as long as a season. Okay. And same goes for storing energy in heat, thermal energy storage. So these different types of technologies have different applications. The primary technology that we see on the market right now are batteries. These are, of
they're
course,
transportable, because I was talking about it with a guest before you, and they were like, what are you talking about, transport? But the transport of energy is also something. I mean, you can storage it, but you have to get it to the location where you need it. Right?
Indeed. So, but what we'll see with electrical energy storage in batteries is that these batteries will either be stationary, so they will be set in one location, or they will be mobile in terms that they will be connected to an electric vehicle. Okay. And these electric vehicles can also be used as energy storage systems. But we are going to need a lot of stationary batteries as well, connected to either wind parks or solar farms or large offshore wind parks to level out the peaks in demand and supply of renewable energy.
Okay, now you were talking about the ways we can storage energy, and I know that there are a lot of companies still exploring and inventing new ways. Would you say that most of the companies are busy improving the ways that we already know to storage energy, or is there still a lot of attention for finding the egg of Columbus, the completely new way to storage energy?
Well, there are always new inventions coming up, of course, in this market. But I think that a lot of the innovation going on right now is actually improving on existing technology. I think that when we're talking about energy storage, mechanical energy storage in terms of flywheels, battery energy storage, electrical energy storage, thermal energy storage, and hydrogen, chemical-based energy storage, because ammonia can also be used for storing energy, are the main categories of storing energy. And within those categories, of course, you have all kinds of different technologies, and which can also still be improved on because it's a very new field as well. But I think that what we're seeing right now will be the vast majority of the types of technologies.
Yeah, because you're from Energy Storage Netherlands. If you look at the other countries, we're now at the European table, but even maybe global, they're all kind of like have the same way of storage energy. But is the Netherlands and maybe even Europe somewhere on the front, or are we laggers, or?
It kind of depends on how you look at the topic. For instance, the United States and Australia are about maybe 5 years ahead of us in terms of the scale of the projects, but the grids in the US and in Australia are also very little interconnected, and we have a very well interconnected grid in Europe, so the demand for energy storage is different in Europe than it is in the US and in Australia. If we're zooming in on Europe, what we're currently seeing is that the demand for energy storage goes hand in hand with the supply of renewable energy. And as you might know, we are lagging a little bit behind in our renewable energy supply in the Netherlands. So in that sense, we're running a little bit behind on the development of energy storage. However, we do have some very innovative companies in the Netherlands that can develop energy storage technologies that can not only be used in the Netherlands, but also in countries surrounding us and even across the pond in the US.
Oh, well, that sounds promising. Looking at the session that we'll be having in a few seconds is going to be live streamed. People can watch it later also again on the website. But what will you be bringing to the table? What do you hope to contribute to the discussion, or hear from the others maybe?
Yeah, sure. No, what I think is very important at this stage of the development of energy storage in the Netherlands is that we're seeing that we have the technology available. Of course, there's still a lot of technological innovation required as well. But now it's time also to do some legislative innovation, so to say.
Okay.
Energy storage is a new player, especially in the electricity market. And that new player needs to find its place, its role in the electricity market. And therefore, we need to adapt legislation that allows for the implementation of energy storage in the system. Our legislation is still very much based on a linear energy system where you have production of energy, transportation, and consumption. And well, what we're seeing right now is that production takes place at where consumption usually used to take place with rooftop PV. And energy storage can be anywhere in this field. So it requires a new approach to energy system legislation. And that's what I hope to bring to the table today.
Oh, that's a very good and clear call to action. Thank you very much for that. Stefan Olsthoorn, Energy Storage, and I'll have a good session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.